Welcome back, Woodhounds, and welcome back, winter. It's the last weekend of March, but it does not feel like that. This morning, I think it was like 15 degrees. It's currently maybe 20. Wind is blowing. It's cold. But in the last video, I mentioned all of the things on the to-do list, and one of the things I wanted to first start off with today was taking care of this big pile of loose splits here from throughout the winter, stuff that I just kind of tossed over here to deal with later. Well, later is now, so we're going to take care of that. I'm going to get the tractor out, and I'm going to show you guys a new way that I'm using the pallets to stack wood on, or actually a new way of stacking wood on the pallets. Different from what I did before, and I think it's going to help maintain the life of the pallet. We'll see. Gets it off the ground a little bit more and actually allows me to stack a little bit more wood on them. So stay tuned for that. Right now, I'll get the tractor and we'll get some wood loaded up and then we'll stack it. Oh yeah.
Dream I heard a warning saying leave the rest, take only what you need. So keep on singing to those who listen, 'cause you can make it on your own. Time goes slowly.
So here's my new little stacking area for what I am keeping for myself, I guess, to burn. Stuff that I won't be selling. Bigger pieces, just different species that I don't like to sell. Like there's some honey locust in there, there's elm, and there's a little oak. But from that pine tree right there, that's about the back line of my lot that goes up the hill. So I figured this space back here is out of the way enough to where anything I'm going to be doing, building any new shelters, this should be out of the way, hopefully. So what I did is I took some of the 2x6s that I milled up way back when, my first attempt at milling up at Rick's place, when they were 2x6s, maple, and they didn't turn out, I mean, they were all right, but some of them were kind of wavy. We didn't really have things dialed in too good. So I took two of them, screwed them together to make basically a 4x6, and I put those down sort of as runners. Just put them on a paver, and then I set the pallet, I guess the long way across them, using those little cutout pockets in the pallet to set on. And these pallets are actually an odd shape. They're 48 inches this way and 45 that way. So they're not like a true 4 foot by 4 foot pallet. So by using this 48 width right here, the 4 foot width, I'm able to actually get 3 rows of wood stacked on there. And what I used to always do is I used to use these the other way. So this is how I used to stack wood on my pallets. I would have the pallet this other way, and with it only being 45 inches wide, I'd only put 2 rows on there because I'd leave a pretty big gap in the center. The other thing I would do is I would set these on the ground, or I would maybe set them on something like a piece of treated board or something like that. But they were still pretty close to the ground. So you can see here that planking on the bottom, these pallets I just pulled up, and they have been sitting here for 2 years. And yeah, this bottom planking is starting to kind of rot out and get a little rough. So instead of putting down pavers on each of the corners, that would be 4 pavers, and then one, I usually put one in the center somewhere. So I would end up using like 6 pavers per pallet. But now with this other way that I'm trying, I'm just going to be having basically 2 pavers, and then I'm going to run the big 4x6 in these little pocket cutouts here and set the pallet the other way. So here's an example of that. You can see there's a paver on the corner, in the center, on the corner again. There's a little support paver in the center, and then so instead of doing that, I've kind of decided to change things up, use some of that lumber that I have, because it's good, but it's not the greatest. These 2 right here are actually 4x6s that we did mill, and the blade got a little dull, so they were a little wavy on the cut. So here, again, I just have a big paver on each end. I'm using that little cutout to run these 4x6s down, and then I have a paver down on that end. So on this little stack right here, 2 pallets sitting up high off the ground, and 3 rows stacked on it. So now back over here to my new stacking area. You can probably notice that those pallets and that stack of wood is on a little bit of an incline on this hill. And I'm not too worried about that right now, because I'm not sure if I'm going to continue the stack up the hill or if I'm going to continue down the hill. So either way, it should be fine. And I'm probably not, I don't know how high I'm going to go. The one thing, I don't need to necessarily have this as a measurable, face cords or whatever. It's just, this is for me. Doesn't matter how much is in here. Sort of like what I did right there. Just a bunch of stacks, nothing on the ends. This is on the hillside as well. And, they just kind of hold themselves up. So yeah, that is the new, I guess, thing I'm trying out with these pallets. It should give me the ability to utilize more pallets and less pavers to keep them off the ground. And this does keep the wood up off the ground nicely, keeps the pallet off the ground nicely. Should work out all right. The only thing is I've got a lot of oak over there, and if I'm going to be keeping some of that for myself, I might end up having this stack go all the way up the hill to that tree up there, because there's going to be a lot of wood. But I've got the space back here, and hopefully, like I said, this will be a good spot to let it sit for a year or 2, because this is the back edge of the wood yard. So everything else this way, if I start, if I move these bags out, if I move these stacks out, and I start building a shelter right here, or if I start building a shelter up there, having the wood stacked back here shouldn't get in the way and interfere. And that is kind of my plan. Somewhere, either where those bags and that stack is, either there or up there. Somewhere I got to figure out where I'm going to have my next shelter for the splitter to go in. I'm kind of thinking down here, but we'll see. So let me know down in the comments, if you stack your wood on pallets, do you keep the pallet up off the ground, or do you just set it on the ground just to keep the wood off the ground? I'm thinking, since I no longer have a supply of these pallets coming in, like these are the last ones I'm going to have, I'm kind of thinking I want to take a little better care of them, keep the pallet off the ground to keep the wood off the ground. That way the pallet should last me a little bit longer, and I should get more use out of it. So that's the item that's getting checked off the to-do list this morning. Cleaning up some of those splits, getting them stacked back over there in the new spot, and then from there we'll see where the day takes us. So thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Stay safe, have fun, and be cool.
all night. Starting to